This week's new releases is a classic case of Monet versus money. Welcome to Visual Recreation, the essential video guide to winning FML each and every week. I'm your local art thief, Drew.
And I'm Joey. You know me as the strategy guy. And this weekend, 2 new movies premiere. We have The Goldfinch and Hustlers.
That's right. Now let's get into the new releases. Now the first new release we're going to be looking at is The Goldfinch. This is a movie about Theo and his life after the horrific death of his mother. And the only thing he can hold on to and hold faith in is this painting called The Goldfinch.
Yes, now this movie was adapted from the 2014 bestseller and Pulitzer Prize winning book of the same name.
The Goldfinch.
The Goldfinch. That's
right. Now this movie stars Ansel Elgort, Finn Wolfhard, and Sarah Paulson.
Yes, now this movie was directed by John Crowley, who directed Brooklyn and True Detective.
Mr. Crowley! Now this movie was written by Peter Strahan, who wrote The Snowman.
Wow, so you did not like The Snowman?
I did not like The Snowman. I love Michael Fassbender. I was so excited for it. My gosh.
Alright, well, The Goldfinch is rated R, and it has like a 2.5-hour runtime.
Wow. Yeah. Another new release this weekend called Hustlers. Now this is all about a group of ex-strip club employees flipping the script on their Wall Street clients.
Yes, this movie is based off the article entitled The Hustlers at Scores by Jessica Presler, and this movie stars Jennifer Lopez.
Or J-Lo as she's known around the block.
Yep. Constance Wu, and Lily Reinhart.
Who is Betty from Riverdale.
Riverdale, yes.
So, it's got some known names in this. Also, Lizzo and Cardi B is also in this movie. Probably as cameos, not as main actresses. This was written and directed by Lorraine Scafaria, who wrote Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist and executive produced Ricky and the Flash.
Nice. Now
well, it's not really a superhero. It's just like Ricky and the Flash.
Okay, gotcha. This movie is also rated R, and it's about an hour and 47-minute runtime.
All right. So now that we got those backstories out of the way, let's get into the crunch. So, when looking at The Goldfinch, Box Office Mojo has this coming out in around 2,500 plus theaters. Pro Box Office has this at opening range of $6 to $11 million with an opening weekend of $8 million, which is an 11% decrease from last weekend's long-range forecast.
That's right. Now, when looking at comps for this movie, some of the comps we were looking at is The Accountant. That came out in 2016. Now, it came out around the same time of year, same studio, and over 2-hour. It was an over 2-hour drama. It opened to $24 million in 3,300 theaters, but that was inflated due to Ben Affleck movie directly after Batman vs. Superman, so that kind of played a part.
Martha!
Yeah.
Now, next we have Our Brand of Crisis. That is rated R. It is done by the same studio and around the same release date. It opened to $3 million in 2,200 theaters. When looking at Ansel Elgort's filmography, he only has 3 fresh rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes. However, he hasn't made one that was wide released to come under $16 million, especially ones that are adapted from books. Carrie was his lowest movie, coming in at $16 million, and his highest was Insurgent, which came in at $52 million opening, with A Fault in Our Stars in a close second at $48 million.
The Goldfinch does have some accolades because it was on the bestsellers list for 30 straight weeks.
30!
Very popular book, but I don't know how popular it is to the general public, though.
That is true. I think it doesn't have that known name as, say, if you say A Fault in Our Stars or Insurgent or Divergent or whatever. Detergent, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that was the 5th one.
So, for my final thoughts on this movie, I can see this one coming in on the lower end of its opening, Pro Box Office opening range, and I have this one coming in around $7 million. Maybe give it a 500,000 on either side, but I definitely see this around 7.5 million opening.
With all the other movies out there, I don't know how interested people are to go see this. Now, maybe taking a look at how many book sales this got might be a good idea. Maybe you can get an idea of the audience for this book, or for this movie, but I think that the audience size is a lot smaller for this movie. So yeah, around 6 to 8 million. That's where I'm gonna go with this.
Also, we didn't mention it. This is an Amazon Studios movie. Yes, it's distributed by Warner Brothers, so it's going to have a wider release. But this is also in partners with Amazon Studios, who don't have the best track record at the box office. So just be wary of that as well. Now, time for the crunch of the Hustlers, as this one is Box Office Mojo is premiering in 3,100 theaters.
Yep, and the Pro Box Office has its opening range anywhere from $23 million to $33 million, with an opening weekend of $28.5 million, which is a 6% increase from last week. Now, STX Entertainment, who's the distributor of Hustlers, does not have a track record of releasing movies in the fall, at least nothing like Hustlers.
That's right. The one STX Entertainment movie that premiered in September of last year was Peppermint, and that was rated R, and it opened to $13 million in just under 3,000 theaters.
Yes, another movie, Rough Night, premiered June of 2017 to $8 million in just over 3,100 theaters. But you got to take that with a grain of salt, since that was in the summer, and it was considered to be a dramedy, a drama and a comedy.
Thank you so much for spelling it out for us. That was really tough.
You're welcome, no problem.
Another one we looked at was A Simple Favor. That was rated R. Opened September of 2018 to $16 million in 3,100 theaters. And finally, we also looked at we also have to remember, we just had an action crime drama come out not too long ago, In the Kitchen, which opened to $5.5 million in 2,700 theaters.
That's right. Now, thoughts about this? Jennifer Lopez's most recent release, Second Act, opened in December last year to $6.5 million in 2,600 theaters, which is only a 2,500 PTA.
That's right, and the one before that one, that was live action, wide release, and not animated, was The Boy Next Door, which opened to $15 million in 2,600 theaters, which was a 5,700 PTA. That's better. But if you put that PTA to Hustlers theater count, that only has it making around $17 million, which is a little bit scary. I think with a movie like this, it definitely has an audience. I've been seeing a ton of advertisements for it, whether I'm watching MTV, Bravo, or Bachelor in Paradise. I've been seeing a lot more of it recently. However, I don't know, it's not catching me as much as it could be, and I don't see this one... I just don't see this one making too much more than $20 million. I think it could make $21 million, and I also could see it making mid-teens. With that being said, I have this around $17 million. Cautiously at $17 million, but this one could be like Girls Trip and just explode type of thing. Yeah,
it could, but I mean, at the same time, looking at the trailer for this movie, it looks like so many other plots that we've seen before. You have movies where the main characters are trying to take from the rich so that they can get rich or get back at them or do something to them. I don't know, looking at the trailer, if they accidentally killed the guy that they were messing with or not, but I mean, we've had plenty of movies with the same plot.
That would be sparks of Rough Night, since they killed the one guy that came in there.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. So yeah, the theater count's pretty healthy, 3,100 theaters. I'm gonna give it mid-teen, 16 million or so. Another thing to look out for or to watch would be Pro Box Office. Look at the percentages there. If you see the numbers increasing or decreasing for this movie. So again, like I said, I would put this in the mid-teens. I mean, 15, 16, maybe even up to 18, but just keep an eye on those percentages.
First movie on our Modar I have is Angel Has Fallen. It had a good hold on Labor Day. It had a great volume hold post Labor Day, and I'm weary that it cannot hold this much volume, especially with two new rated R movies coming out It Chapter 2 second weekend is going to be coming out, and that's going to hold its volume as well. So with that being said, I think that the rated R pool in the movie theater is really murky right now, and it's just too jammed up. It's like summer at Wet and Wild or whatever Disney has.
No more Wet and Wild.
So with that being said, I'd be wary and keep my eye out on Angel Has Fallen. I just don't know about that movie. See how it adds up into your lineup, how you crunched your BP or PC, but I would just be wary of that one.
Yeah, now these movies to watch out for, they could be either a good thing to look out for or a bad thing to look out for. And the movie that I'm warning you against this week would be Ready or Not. I mean, taking a look at Labor Day numbers, it's hard to gauge a little bit on these movies just because that fourth day makes them have a pretty good holdover. So this one did end up losing 6%, though. It came in around $7.4 million. But I would say you might not want to play this one this week. It's probably going to drop around the 60% mark or so. The dailies are coming in pretty low. So this movie is pretty much on its way out. So I would say that I'm ready to not play this movie this weekend.
Oh! So I want to shout out the Top 9 side game, which is done by Austin Buyer Club. He puts it out on the main chatter starting Sunday nights, and you have to fill it out by Wednesday because you're taking a look at the slate and you're going to try to predict the top 9 movies in FML or in the box office 9 days in advance. You're doing it by Wednesday, and you're not doing it for that weekend. You're doing it for the next weekend. So you have to make sure to be on the lookout in the main chatter. It's really, really fun. It gets you kind of like looking towards the future a little bit. And I always like to do stuff that makes me feel like I'm at least putting some effort so I know what to expect.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking at Todd Thatcher's box office. You're looking at long-range forecasts weeks in advance at some of the new movies that are going to be coming to the FML slate, coming into the box office. So with the Top 9 side game, be sure to look out on Sunday night because it opens Sunday night and it closes Wednesday. So be sure to make sure that you do it by Wednesday.
Yeah, and I think doing that with the early estimates, that really engages you and gets you focused on the numbers so you can see kind of where your estimates fall with like the box office pros and all of that, all those numbers that are later on in the week.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you get to stack up between some of the great projectionists and Fantasy Movie League as they have already signed up and are playing the Top 9 side game. Yeah. And you can just jump in during the weeks. You might not be the best at it right away, but at least you get started into it and you get to see how you stack up. So I think it's really, really fun. Go on to it. Thank you, Austin, for setting that up. And I'm playing. I'm signed up already.
Well, there you have it. That's our episode this week. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. Good luck this week in Fantasy Movie League. And remember,
sometimes you gotta risk it to get that biscuit.